what they said, that the smoke was not able to come out of the mine, and obviously for some reason fresh air wasn't coming in, otherwise they would have not needed the tube for oxygen. So where do they think this breeze was coming from, and how it started, and how it developed, and how he reacted to it?
Dice que él estuvo pensando acerca de esta brisa fresca que llegaba a la mina. Porque...
Y nos habíamos puesto la buena, habíamos conversado que ya no iba a pasar mal el tema. Entonces, en ese momento yo pensé todo eso, dije yo, bueno, Dios me dio la oportunidad de despedirme de mis hijos, mi señora, mi familia, y si me llegó el momento que me lleve, dije yo, y me agarro de su mano y le pedía que no me soltara.
The story that came together with the first time he felt this breeze was at some point on the second or third day that he started to become hopeless, realizing that maybe this was his time to go. And he was sitting by himself thinking about this situation, but he found himself that he has some peace on him. And the reason that he felt peaceful was that the previous Sunday he was able to see all his family like never before. It was the birthday of his favorite, his most beloved grandchild that is his friend, that he goes out and he's like his main friend. And all his sons and daughters and grandchildren, they gathered on a Sunday in a park, and they have a very nice day. Also, that same weekend, he was able to visit like other relatives in his hometown. And at that night, even he had some differences with his wife, and that Sunday they make peace. So thinking on that, he was thankful to Allah, saying, "You gave me the opportunity to leave this world in peace because of this." So he said, "Okay, if this is the time that I go with you, please hold my hand and take me."
En ese momento me puse a llorar. Lloré de impotencia, no poder comunicarle a mis hijos que yo estaba bien, pero también lloraba de felicidad de haberme podido despedir de ellos.
And at that point he began to cry because he had no chance to tell his family that he was leaving this world happy, and to tell them that he was fine. And at the same time, he was sad on that part, but also happy because he was able to see everyone and to leave this world in the best way he could imagine at that moment.
Después de un momento me puse a orar, a pedirle al Señor de que me recibiera con Él, y que si no era mi momento, que me diera, no sé, alguna luz, algo que me indicara de que yo iba a volver a ver otra vez a mis hijos. Y fue cuando sentí esa brisa, algo fresco, algo que me llenó de nuevo, y dije, es Dios, me está dando la oportunidad de ver a mis hijos, y voy a tener que esperar el momento hasta que me rescaten. Y tenía la fe de que me empezó a crecer la fe de que nos iban a rescatar.
He's saying that right after going through this thought, he began to pray, and he asked our Lord, please, if you are going to take me, and this is my time, I'm here, just take me, and please hold me with you all the time. But if it's not my time, I ask you to give me a sign, something that helped me have the belief and the hope that I will be fine and back again with my family. And after he was claiming that dua, he felt this fresh breeze of wind, cold, that filled him. Inside, he catch breath, fresh breath, and he knew that was his presence that was coming into him at that moment, and that give him more light and faith that he will be having a second chance in order to see his family again.
Bueno, de ahí ya la fe fue más firme, más fuerte. Me acoplé con más ganas a las oraciones que hacían a diario, pero también quedó la pregunta de dónde venía esa brisa, ese aire, que en principio no se sentía porque era todo calor. Con algunos compañeros, no me recuerdo si andaba también Dario, con los encendedores, buscando de dónde, claro, de dónde salía el aire. Llegamos a un punto que entraba aire, pero no por dónde salía. Ya, como que se concentraba en una sola parte y no había una parte donde uno prendiera que indicara la llama que estaba saliendo. Estaba ahí. Entraba.
So after that breeze was with them almost every day, sometimes at the morning, midday. He said this before, and with their companions were asking, where is this breeze coming? And with the lighters for cigarettes, they were looking with the flame where, and they could see where it was coming, but they couldn't tell where it was going. So it was like a mystery, and it was not everywhere. It was concentrated only in one area. When they feel that it was there, it's not like coming and then going. It was like coming, staying, but not going somewhere else.
Bueno, y eso para mí es algo que no puedo creer otra cosa, que era una ayuda de Dios, que era algo celestial, porque mis hijos afuera tenían esa convicción también de que yo estaba bien, que estaba vivo, y ellos oraban a Dios, nunca pensaron de que yo estaba muerto. Ellos siempre dijeron, no, mi viejo está vivo, Dios lo va a cuidar, porque ellos también tienen mucha fe. Y yo creo que ahí esa comunicación que hubo fue la que nos ayudó. Yo creo que muchos de nosotros estábamos en la misma situación de pedir a Dios y tratar de comunicarse con la familia. Era algo que vivíamos a diario.
He realized, after looking about or trying to find out about this breeze, he realized, and some other ones also realized, that must be something heavenly to do with this wind, and that built their faith. And also they believed that not only the wind, but there was God himself or his presence help them on that process, and also giving their families also the certainty that they were alive, because somehow they were connected through their prayers and their belief, and both at the same time, the miners and their families, they have this hope and faith that they were going to be rescued and meet again.
A mi señora también le pasó algo bien, que también ella se pregunta y dice, yo creo que lo único fue Dios lo que hizo eso. Ella tenía que subir todas las noches, después de cerrar su negocio, subía todas las noches a la mina. Ella iba en su vehículo, iba siempre acompañada con alguna amiga, y un día se fue sola. Iba llorando y camino muy difícil, él lo conoció primero, y una neblina que no sabía nada, y ya intentaba como quedarse parado porque no podía ver el camino, y ella le pedía a Dios en cada momento que yo estuviera bien y que la acompañara para llegar a la mina. Y primero ella se asustó porque sintió que alguien se sentó al lado de ella. sintió una presencia y le dio como miedo. Pero después también sintió algo, en el momento algo que le empujó a seguir, y llegó hasta arriba y fue la primera vez que tuvimos una comunicación con carta, porque ella en el momento hizo una nota y ya se había logrado la comunicación y fue su primera carta que me llevó a mí adentro.
He said at the same time his wife also experienced some similar situations, but on the other side. She has a big shop in the city, so every day in the morning she will open work, and at night she will take a car, her car, and with someone drive to the mine to spend the night in the mine, hoping and praying that they will be out. And in the morning again coming down to work on her shop. And one night there was no one from her friends or family that could drive the car with her. And the road to the mine was very difficult. Dirt road, dark, no light, no desert roads and mountain. And she was driving by herself at night, and all of a sudden a very dense fog she couldn't be able, so dense and dark that she couldn't be able to drive even slowly, because no way to, and she started to become really afraid because she was alone, and she was crying and also begging for him to be good and to ask the Lord for support in order to reach again to the mine. And she said that at that moment, after making that dua, she felt that someone sat in the next to her in the car. At the beginning she was afraid, but then she realized that that presence was helping her and supporting her and almost like pushed her to go through that fog. And she finally reached to the mine, and she wrote a letter to him and sent her down because they recently have opened the connection, and that was the first letter he received from her.
Se me agrandó el corazón, el alma, y alegría, llanto, porque aparte de eso ya venían junto con esa carta de mis hijos la bendición más grande que uno puede tener en esas condiciones, recibir palabras tan lindas en una carta.
And that letter was coming also with letters from his children and grandchildren, and when he received, his heart was becoming bigger and his soul was happy, and he cried and cried, thinking that the biggest blessing was to have someone caring for them upstairs.
Y si usted algún día me pudiera yo mostrarle las cartas, todas las cartas de mis hijos, de mi esposa y mía, en todas aparece el nombre de Dios, en todas. Gracias a Dios.
He would like to show you someday. He doesn't have it here, but she would love to show that all the letters from their children, his wife, and family, in all the single letters and his letters that he's keeping all together, every other sentence there is the name of God. And he would like someday to show that to us.
That breeze, after the first 17 days, did it continue after they were able to put a pipe and pump fresh oxygen into the cave? Was that breeze still continuing?
Esa brisa después de los 17 días y después de que pusieron esa cañería con el aire de arriba, ¿siguió o se detuvo?
Hubo días que se detuvo esa brisa. A nosotros nos mandaron una cañería con aire que era muy poca, que a veces era muy poco el aire que daba, casi nada. Manteníamos yo creo que más aire antes, ¿cierto? Que después del... Pero había momentos que en la mañana o antes que hiciéramos la oración llegaba esa brisa y después se aplacaba y manteníamos el aire, pero siempre llegaba uno.
Saying that sometimes that air stopped, and after, especially they have this pipe. They were saying after, similar than the water, they were saying that after the pipe, between them there was we were breathing much better air before than after. But anyhow, once a day or sometimes in the morning or just before the prayer, they feel that breeze again.
Still
Not
the
every
last
day, but yes, like every other day, something like this, until the last day.
Era como la brisa así tan fuerte como cuando íbamos saliendo, ese aire fresco, rico. Se mantuvo en la salida.
When they were coming out, that breeze, they felt it when they were going up.
Also.
And that fresh air catching, like the first breath after going out, it was similar to what they feel down in the fresh air. And they felt it all the way up. Lo sentían cuando subían.
Sí, cuando
Esa brisa.
íbamos saliendo, sí, esa brisa se...
They felt that breeze.
Teníamos al
Mario Gómez.
Mario Gómez, que antes que lo encontraran, él se sentía bien con el aire que entraba. Y después que lo encontraron, mandaron aire y como que se ahogaba.
Tenía que usar oxígeno.
Tenía que usar oxígeno.
There was one of the miners named Mario Gomez that before the 17 days he was breathing very good, very normal. But after they sent the pipe, he started to have problems breathing, like losing
asthma.
Yes,
silicosis.
pneumonia.
Silicosis.
He had silicosis. It's a miner's disease. And after the 17 days, he started to have symptoms of pneumonia, silicosis, and having problems breathing. So they have to use oxygen for him. But before, no problem.
During the 17
Yes.
days, he had no problem.
Yes.
Y Mario Gómez, a pesar de su enfermedad que tenía, que cierra los pulmones, es muy difícil poder respirar, antes que nos encontraran caminaba buscando por dónde nos iban a sacar, por dónde iban a romper. Y después que ya nos llegó el aire, ya después se sentaba, acostado y le costaba, tenía que ponerse el oxígeno 2 o 3 veces al día.
Saying that this disease, silicosis, is to have dust on your lungs. During the 17 days, this miner would walk around trying to look for an exit. No problem. He could walk up and down, search. He was tenía 64 años.
64.
He was the oldest of the miners, 64 years old. And he was able to walk, move, go up and down, looking for an exit. But when they gave the air, he couldn't walk anymore. He had to sit, he had to take oxygen, he started to feel ill again.
So in the 17 days when they were completely disconnected from upstairs, it was the living conditions for them was better.
Se puede sacar la conclusión de que en esos 17 días tenían el agua les hacía bien y el aire estaba más fresco, estaban en mejores condiciones que cuando estaban conectados.
Yo diría que sí. Había más la parte oxígeno, la misma convivencia. La convivencia era como más unida, más cercana. Después que ya nos encontraron, hubieron ya roces, discusiones, un poco de distanciamiento. Por eso que digo yo que ese día, los días anteriores, cuando eran como 5 días antes que salieran, el cerro empezó nuevamente a explotar, a crujir. Yo creo que era un llamado de atención de que nos estábamos olvidando de Dios, que era cuando estábamos sin alimentos, sin nada, estábamos muy cerca uno al otro y después nos empezamos a tener problemas.
He's saying that on the first 17 days he could say, as you said, that they have better conditions, not only because of the air, because of also the group, how they relate to each other. Or the first 17 days they were very close to each other, really one entity. No discussions, no difference. They have very strong attached to each other. They were just one, like one group. And after they make contact, they started to have differences, to discuss, and to get away from this connection. And he believes that 5 days before coming out, they have a very strong. They were really afraid because 5 days before there was a rock explosion and like an earthquake and very big sound that the rocks were moving again. So he believes that since they have distance from that connection originally that they have, there was a warning bringing them back to what they have. Like it was like, okay, you're going out.
If you lose the connection, you go back to where you were.
Yes. So that was a warning saying, don't lose what you gain.
Yes.
Otherwise, you could stay here. And after that explosion, on those 5 days, they come back together and they start praying again, all of them, because some of them were not praying, and they came back to pray, and they came back to remember what was the original conditions in those 17 days.
Yo creo que de boca de todos salió.
He's saying that everyone, after they felt those explosions, almost everyone from the 33, or everyone, they said, "Oh my God." And he realized that, and they realized that they were forgetting him in this situation.
Hay muchas cosas que de repente uno tiene guardadas, muchas cosas que han ido saliendo de a poco. Y yo creo que una de las que más me ha dado gusto a mí conversar es las señales que nos daba que Dios estaba con nosotros. Y lo voy a mantener diciendo mientras yo vea que Dios estaba con nosotros.
He's saying there's many things that they are coming out slowly. There are things that he has kept for himself, some others that he has been remembering, and some others that are coming out since he's going through this time after that situation. But there's one thing that he will say to people until he lives his life, from the time he was out until the end, and that thing is to tell people that God helped them, that God was with them, and that God helped them to get out. So he feels that he has to give this message to everyone until the last days of him.
I was going to ask him a question, but he answered it immediately, because the first 17 days forced him to be one person and one heartbeat. And I was going to ask him, why do you think this blessing came? But he answers it already. If you can connect to that point, then you get that blessing.
Él justo iba a preguntar algo que usted se lo respondió recién, un poquito antes, cuando le dijo eso, porque él decía, en esos 17 días ustedes lograron conectar y transformarse los 33 en un solo corazón. Entonces, y él quería preguntar de dónde creen ustedes que vino esta bendición. Y a través de su respuesta se le respondió esa segunda pregunta, que vino a través de
Dios. Yo creo firmemente que, aunque mis compañeros digan lo contrario a lo mejor,
he's saying that he strongly believes that in spite of that some other of the miners don't believe the same, but he believes that this was not an accident, because it was if it was an accident, some of the 33 could have died. He more is of the idea of believing that this was a test and a proof, because not only for them, a proof that touched them, it was a test for the whole world, their families and the whole world, because they were forced to connect and to put their hearts together. And he's asking why in the 33 there was, for example, an electrician, someone who knew medicine, different someone who memorized the Bible, and some like this. They were all like different, complemented perfectly in this group. And he said that his experience show and make them to pray for them and to pray for their families and to live their daily life about what I'm going to die, what I'm going to buy today, what I'm going to eat, and take them from their routine and bring them to pray for them and to pray for their safety, not only their families but the whole world, to remember God through their prayers. So that's why he's saying he believes this is something that has to do not only for them, but for many people all over the world that were called through this experience to go and pray for something and live their daily life like any other day, just to have something to connect and pray for them.
100%. I mean, they were 700 meters underground in how many meters square room? 35 meters square room, and they were more connected than anybody above the ground. The whole world were sending them letters to pray for them. The poisonous water became fresh and pure. There was no oxygen, but there was a breath from heaven coming to them. And people were asking them to cure their children by their prayers. So it was what they would think a chapel underground.
Tenemos que ir los tres. Y resulta que mis compañeros me quedaron dormidos. Es como que
He's saying, adding to what he was saying before, is that he believes also that each of the 33 were chosen. Because, for example, him, the day before going into the mine, he finished his 7 days shift, and he have a free day to go home. But their boss told him and his partners, they were 4, to go again the next day, not to rest. And he went to the mine, but the other 3 slept over. So he alone went into the mine. And some other ones, they had the similar experience. And the group was made not like by any chance. He believes that they were picked one by one to put them together. And he earlier was saying, why 33? 33 is also a number, like the number when Jesus for him was important.
Why 70 days? Why 700 meters?
¿Por qué 17 días? ¿Por qué 700 metros? ¿Son puros números?
Lo que se demoró la máquina en perforar y llegar a algo fueron 33 días.
The first machine that make la que le hizo the machine that make the hole that was going to take them out, the big one, took 33 days to make that hole.
Nosotros yo salí el día 13 del 10, 33.
He was out the day 13th of the 10th of 2010. 10 plus 13, 33. Where most of the miners went out.
El número 17.
He was the number 17 to go out.
Estaba José Enrique, que el pastor que había, que tenía 33 años de casado, 33 años de minería, y 33 familias.
Claro.
La familia de Adrián,
33 personas de la familia.
One of the miners, the one who preached the Bible, he had 33 years being married, 33 years as a minor, and all his family together, they were 33.
But now he has a big responsibility, really, because inshallah never he goes back into this intense situation, but he have to carry that experience in his heart and tell the people who cannot agree amongst themselves, yani, what do we have to go through such intense, difficult condition to be able to connect?
Sí, porque de hecho aquí en el grupo nuestro había familias que tenían bastantes problemas. Hermanos que no se hablaban, había un niño adentro con nosotros que él hacía más de 2 años que no hablaba a la mamá y dijo, no, ahora yo me voy derecho, salgo y voy donde mi mamá, la mamá lo está esperando afuera.
Many of the miners, when they were downstairs,
No, también eso.
they have many problems like normal people. One kid, like a young miner, didn't speak with his mother 2 years. Some others were distanced between brothers. Some families were split into families like this, in 2 parties. And when they all came out, they were all united again. The son said, as soon as I go down, I will go to the feet of my mother. The brothers to unite and families to come together.
Really, because so many people, especially here next to the Sheikh, we get to see people complaining about their life. They have difficulties and they have problems. So now he can tell people without difficulties, without problem, you don't reach the blessing that they've reached. It doesn't open their eyes to the truth.
Sí. Es lo que nos hace darnos cuenta que estamos olvidando algo muy importante.
This is what makes us realize that we are forgetting something very essential, very, very important.
Que es estar con Dios primero y después con Él.
Is to be with our Lord first and then the rest.
They had to connect with each other to be able to receive the blessing.
Y dice que de acuerdo, o sea, para que uno pueda recibir esa bendición, es necesario el conectarse el uno al otro.
It was 40 degrees, so they had no clothes. You said they were staying with their underwear only. No clothing, no air, no food, no water.
Y hubo una comunicación muy buena, nos apoyamos harto, nos hicimos muy buenos amigos, todavía somos buenos amigos y no, ahí dentro nos comunicamos mucho, nos acercamos mucho.
He's saying that they were forced to accept and to know each other. They had the chance to know each other, really know each other, to trust, to support each other. And he said that he was the first day or second day on this team work, and he only knew 2 of the 33 before. So back down there, he had to know everyone before making this. I mean, not before, but through this connection, he had to also know people that he never saw before. And he said one of them that was like this, by a coincidence, he ended up sitting next to him. And then he only knew him because he was earlier, a few years ago, he was a professional soccer player. So he knew him through the news or something like this. So he sit next to him, then they moved because of the water to another place, and he was sitting next to him. And then they dealing with each other, they end up becoming really good friends, like brothers. And they now they are connected. They keep track of each other. They talk, they speak, and they become like this attached.
Con Dario, un día él estaba al frente, lo veía, habíamos tenido alguna pequeña discusión. Después conversando, alguien dice que es de Vallenar. Y nos encontramos ahí sin saber.
He said even between these 2, they didn't know each other before. No se conocían antes, así. Bueno, o sea, antes de la mina no se ubicaban entonces.
Cuando chico en Vallenar yo me acordaba de la mamá, el papá y de ellos que eran varios hermanos.
Pero en la mina cuando llegaron al principio pensaban
no
que
los había
eran
visto nunca.
O sea, at the beginning they thought they were strangers, like they never saw before. Even they have a very hard discussion one day. And then they were sitting next to each other and they realized they were from the same town called Vallenar. And they start speaking, talking about that. They realize that their both fathers were very close friends, and also the mothers were very close friends. And they keep going, and they found out they were friends when they were children. And then they separate, and now they found themselves in the mine, and they found themselves here.
My question is how he thinks he can keep that connection while now living on Earth with its many distractions.
Entonces, su pregunta es, ¿cómo cree usted?
Unión o en ese contacto, siempre tratando de hablar al mundo de que Dios existe.
He's saying that he feels that he can not keep that connection without being distracted, especially from things.
He can or he can't?
He can keep that connection, avoiding to be distracted, especially with things that are not good for our hearts and from our minds. Also through prayer, keep that connection, and through telling other people what was this experience, telling them that God is existing, and in order to tell what he received to others. That way he feels that what he received, he will be able to keep it and also to share it.
Those people that they have been imprisoned under 700 meters deep place, it is a miraculous happening to make people to think about spirituality and miracles, or as an ordinary position, or whole technology, if coming together, they are not going to save them. One night I have been informed about their situation, terrible situation, and that night I was praying for save those people, and through East and West there are 313 miraculous people. One of them I was calling to look after them, and he ordered to me that I may send, perhaps you taking my message to say La ilaha illallah, and also if it was possible to reach to them with our triangle. And whole blessings from our Lord Almighty Allah, whole glory and majesty for Allah Almighty. And also His most glorified Deputy Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu. coming a help from unknown direction. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 ones just enter that place. They are not seeing what they are seeing them. And what it is written on a table, tablet.
Preserved tablet.
Huh?
Preserved tablet.
Preserved tablet, and just given a date that they should be taken up. And it was in such a way, and they were observing some
Miraculous.
very, very weak miracle. Using ordinary miracles that mount like this, taking away in a moment. But they can't carry. Even whole world people, they can't carry that. Therefore it was slowly giving what they have been, they are in need till that period complete. Subhanallah, they are coming here and we are looking to them. And also those people, I was following here also how they are getting out. If no one holy one using that machine that was coming on their heads. It was so difficult. But catching one holy one in that area, taking up, or impossible. Impossible. The Lord of Heavens making impossible possible. We the weakest Holy One. Weakest Holy One. Now I am happy to see them here. That it is they are good chance to come here also, to look them, to see them, and behind our guests coming to be a opening for spirituality in that area. As much as Northern America materialist, those people going to be much more spirituality power with that. Should be given.